views and opinions expressed in this program are those of the participants and do not necessarily reflect the views of BronxNet or the program underwriters.
Hello everyone, and welcome to Open BxRx Remote, brought to you from my living workspace, Shari Executive Suite. I'm Rhina Valentin, your hosty Café con Leche every Friday. Here's what's coming up in today's show. Leading things off, we'll speak to Certified Reiki Master-Teacher Zayda Rivera about different ways she's helping to bring healing into people's lives through her practice, Mindful Living with Z. After that, we'll be joined by award-winning screenwriter and co-producer Granger to discuss his latest screenplay titled Light from the Shadows, a story based on the book Tears of Hope. Then we'll find out about hashtag Senior Lives Matter, the Bronx Senior Photo League year-end exhibition that reflects the intimate lives of older adults during the pandemic. Later on in the show, Bobby C brings us an up-to-date with the latest headlines in the world of sports. And lastly, this week's Open Artist Spotlight shines on Dominican musical artist Ambar Paola, who will perform her latest single at the end of the show. So sit back y prepárate. All this and more is headed your way, because now we are officially open. To Open. I'm Rhina Valentin, your hosty Café con Leche. For the next hour, encouraging you to get social with us online, that is. Tweet us and follow us on Instagram at BronxNet TV and like us on Facebook at Open BronxNet Television. And of course, while you're there, follow me on Instagram, FB, Twitter, LinkedIn, Insta Stories at Rhina Valentin. So this what we're calling COVID era has caused so much trauma for many individuals. And now more than ever, people are in need of healing and peace of mind to move forward. So our first guest is a certified Reiki master teacher, an intuitive tarot reader, and founder of Mindful Living with Z. And she's here to share more on different healing modalities along with her virtual meditation. Everyone, please welcome Zayda Rivera. Hello and welcome.
Hello, hello. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for being here with us. We can begin with a namaste, sister.
Namaste, sister. So nice to be here. I'm honored.
Oh, I'm so happy to have you and share you with our viewers. What you have been doing throughout the pandemic is really admirable. So let's just give everybody a little insight as to what led you to this path, because it just seems to keep evolving. All right. So I introduced 3 different modalities. I know there are more, and feel free to share those additional ones if you wish. However, I would like for us to focus on the expansion that's about to occur with your meditation practice.
Absolutely. So, I've been doing meditation for a long time. My oldest daughter is 14, and I started doing daily meditation practice when she was about 2. So about 12 years now. And, the impact that it had in my life was something that I just felt so called to share with others. But no better time than this last year and a half that we've been going through. And so I started doing literally right before the pandemic. In late 2019, I started my first 30-day virtual meditation gathering on Instagram, where I uploaded an 8 to 10 minute guided meditation every single day, and people would just follow along. After the first 30-day cycle, so many people started reaching out, indicating how profound it impacted them, how they had never done meditation before, and when was I going to do the next cycle. I did the next cycle right at the cusp of the pandemic. And again, the same response. And it's really been something I've been so drawn to, just sharing this healing modality with people. And it's so simple, right? 8 to 10 minutes a day. That's all. And people would feel so much lighter, so much more able to deal with the challenges and obstacles that they face in their life, and add a pandemic to that, you know?
Yeah, no, well, and this is what I feel anyway. That's the upside to it, right? So just looking at the glass half full, it has brought people inward, and so there's that aspect to it that has been a blessing. I mean, it's been challenging to balance it out. However, let's talk about this 30-day process that you implemented. Was it a different style each time you loaded up the 30-day practice? Like, was it done in video form or audible form, which audio form?
I would do it in video form. Sometimes I'd accompany it with sound healing. I'm a musician by nature, so I would bring out my sound bowl or my drum, my Native American drum, and really tune people into their heartbeat. And I would walk them through every step of it, including mantras to keep them focused if their mind started to wander. And just, again, like you said, helping them to go inward. And I think that a lot of the people that started to follow this gathering didn't realize how much they needed to do that. And so every day they would tune in, and I'd get the most beautiful feedback of, oh, this was exactly what I needed. And sometimes I would start by, let's say the first 7 days would be concentrated on each chakra. So I would start from the root chakra and go all the way up to the crown chakra, specific guided meditations for each one. And then walking people through quieting the voice of self-doubt, or welcoming abundance into their life, realizing that abundance is our birthright, that it's not reserved for just a chosen few. Really starting to recalibrate the way people think about themselves and about loving themselves.
And so coming from being a Reiki master as well, which is the practice of energy, right? So
Yeah.
As a Reiki master, and although I know you started a course in that as well, right? You're already in there. It's a 4-week course. I wanted to know from your perspective if that mastery also seeps into the meditation and dealing with people virtually.
Oh, absolutely. And for the virtual meditation gathering, I really did kind of keep it streamlined to meditation. But I also do monthly virtual Reiki sessions as well, Reiki healing sessions, where I start a group out with meditation, guided meditation and breath work. And then we go into a Reiki healing in a group setting. I also do one-on-one distant Reiki. A lot of it has been distant because of the pandemic, but
Right.
slowly starting to bring those in-person sessions back so that people could get that one-on-one and the human connection face-to-face with me.
So just for someone who may be unfamiliar with Reiki, what are the benefits of working with a Reiki healer?
Oh my goodness, there's so many benefits. And trust me, I do self Reiki treatments on myself all the time. One thing it's really helped me with is anxiety and insomnia. So those are definitely things, but it also could help with depression. It could help with fear, depending on what my clients come to me. And the first thing I always ask them is, what is it that you need today? And then they'll tell me something, and right away it'll spark, okay, I should do some Reiki on this chakra, because Reiki is really balancing out our chakras, which are vortexes, are, wheels, energy wheels that we all possess. And when those are off balance, we start to feel it physically and through illness even. So Reiki has so many infinite things that could help with, but definitely anxiety, depression, stress. It could help with, even if you're having muscle spasms or migraine headaches. But it could also help with healing a broken heart as well.
Interesting. And so how did you find yourself so engulfed in all of this? I mean, I know you said that you did it for yourself, but now it seems to be for everyone else. I mean, in addition to yourself. And just listening to you, it definitely sounds like it's your passion.
Oh, it absolutely is. And I'm so proud to say that in the 2.5 years that I've been running my practice, I have treated clients all over the United States and internationally. I had a client in Germany recently, and it's a calling. It's absolutely a calling. I started studying the modality in 2018. And when I started, it was really because there was a family member of mine that was very ill, and I was called to practice Reiki. And in my mind, I was thinking, okay, I'm going to do this so that I could help this family member. But Spirit had another course for me. And it was really to start healing myself first. And once I started healing myself and, different traumas I've sustained in my life, and I saw the impact that it had on me, it was like I was jumping for joy, excited to share it with others and bring it to other people's lives. And now it's like, I just can't get enough. I just want to work with more people. I want to expand the practice. I want to reach more people all over the world. And really, I really believe that Reiki and meditation and mindfulness really can change our world for the good.
I'm 100% in agreement with you. And before we go, we have to share that, well, first of all, that you're switching your platforms, you're switching over to Patreon, but I understand that you have a webcast that you're going to be doing for National Youth Week, which is the next generation, which I'm really enthusiastic about.
Yes, so July 31st, I'll be posting information on my social media platforms as well as my website. But I have the great opportunity to speak to the young people about living mindfully. Something I wish that I was taught as a young person, something that I hope to see in curriculums across all education levels. But I'm so excited to speak to the youth, especially after they have spent this last year and a half doing, virtual learning, being separated from one another. We think about that impact that it had on us as adults, but imagine in the middle of your childhood, suddenly being completely separate from your friends. And so I can't wait to pass this on to the next generation. I think they're going to do great things with this.
Yeah, well, I applaud you for being mindful enough to understand that the next generation is going to need it just as much. So there is hence where the transformation will begin, because you're going to disrupt the cycle by making them aware. So brava to you, and thank you for bringing it here to our viewers. Namaste, Zayda. And you guys, I want to remind you that you can still participate in her meditation gatherings by going to Mindful Living with Z. Rather, the meditation gatherings are Mindful Living with Z, but you can visit her website at ZaydaRivera.com. And of course, you can check her out on Instagram at Mindful Living with Z. All right, we have to take a quick break, but when we return, we're going to hear about a new screenplay, so don't go anywhere. Welcome back. Our next guest is an award-winning screenwriter known for his diverse storytelling style. He's written many genres of screenplays, including action-adventure, romantic adventure, sci-fi family comedy, drama, and historical drama. He's currently working on a screenplay titled Light from the Shadows, a story adapted from the book Tears of Hope. And he's here to join us to tell us more about these current choice of screenplays he's writing. Please welcome Eric P. Granger. Hi.
Hi. Hi, Rhianna. Thank you. Thanks for the invitation to be here today.
Yeah, well, thanks for being here. And I already introduced that you are a man of many hats or many flavors, right?
Yeah.
Because wow, that's a lot of genres, and you've been writing for a very long time.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah. Almost 20 years now. Yeah.
that's a very long time.
Yeah.
And in no, but not just. I don't mean it like that. I don't mean it from the age perspective. I mean it from the craftsmanship
Okay.
perspective of
Okay.
someone who's been able to sustain themselves just working on their craft, and not only just working on their craft, diving into different like respective areas that may not necessarily coincide.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes. They're all over the place. They're all over the map. So
So you're like an artist in writing form.
there you go. I like that.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah. The keyboard is my brush.
I like that. I like that. I like that. And so, so all of this to question, I guess, how is it that you choose the genre and the
Oh boy.
topics?
Wow. Sometimes it's just something that comes to me, and I try to choose stories that I feel have not been told before. So I try to, when an idea comes to me, maybe I'll throw a couple angles around and say, no, that's like this movie, or that one's like this movie. And I always want to try to do something that I feel anyway has not been approached before. So it could be an idea, it could be a suggestion, it could be something I overheard, it could be something I saw in the news. That just spark. There's the initial spark, and then the fun comes when you sit to the keyboard and just go, all right, let's make a nice story about this.
But how does one succeed on the level that you have of,
Oh boy.
not well, here's the thing though, you've already tapped into all different types of genres. I see awards over there behind you. You've got
Yeah.
many of accolades, and it's not an easy thing to really continue doing, especially in the world of film.
Yeah, it's a funny it's a funny road to hoe. It really is. When I first began, I wanted to test myself, so I would enter screenplay contests and put my work up against the hundreds and sometimes thousands of other people who entered the contests. And to me, that was a way of saying, okay, you are good enough or you aren't good enough. There's a lot of people who like to try to write, and the best way is to bare your soul and let other people judge you. And so that's how I started, is letting other people judge me. And because of that, I got to meet some interesting people. I would go to lots of film festivals. And again, as I first started, I was shy and I was the guy sitting in the corner, didn't know what the heck was going on. Now I'm way too brazen for that. I just walk up to anybody. I don't care who they are. I'll go, hey, I'm Eric. And then we'll just start talking. So it's putting yourself out there, letting the world judge you was the first couple of steps. And then eventually some of that starts trickling back to you.
As it has for you, and
Yeah.
so I mean, I did mention that you also write music, and you also have a book, and then now there's this film that screenplay I should say, that is in development, that is an adaptation of a book, and you also have something else that that's already in the works that has to deal with human trafficking. So what has drawn you to this particular topic?
This particular one from Amy's book, Tears of Hope, is we met by accident at a Las Vegas film festival, and I asked her what she did, and she told me she wrote a book, and I said, oh, and she gave me the 15-second elevator speech on the book, and I said, well, why don't you send it to me? I'd love to read it. And so she actually physically gave me one before the festival was over, and I read it on the plane back home, coming back east. And it just hit me. It's an amazing story. It's an amazing attitude. And I actually read it twice and then downloaded the Kindle and listened to it a third time. And then I got a hold of Amy and I said, look, I think this is worth the story worth sharing with the rest of the world. So I asked her, and we set up a deal that I would do the adaptation. Yeah.
Nice. And so where are you now in the process?
Oh, I've done the rough draft, and most of the first draft is complete now. And like all artist, you're never satisfied with your own work. I'm my worst critic. So I would back up and start over and say, no, it needs to more come from this angle. And so we're in a good place. We're going to be finishing up the script very shortly here. And Amy and I are working together to try to put together a team from that.
Okay, and so now let's talk about, I've always wondered, right?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
you feel free to answer any way you like. Why
Okay.
is it that adaptations are always, they always end up with a different title from the original book? Like the original book is called Tears of Hope, and
Yep.
you named the screenplay Light from the Shadows. So
I felt after, again, reading it for the third time, in a sense, that the title Light from the Shadows was more uplifting and hopeful. And I thought it would appeal to people from a film point of view a little bit different than how she had the original book. But and I collaborated with her on that. I said, look, I'd like to change it to this. And she loved it. She went right along with it with no problems there. But I thought it had more appeal from a film point of view.
And so after having read it and listened to it,
Yeah.
and choosing to write it and go this far, what do you think was so important within the messaging that you're compelled to have to bring it into this form?
I think it's the hope that's in this story, especially this last 18 months that we've all been going through. The real message to me in the story is no matter how hard you get beat down, Amy could always find something good, no matter how bad it was. She could find the good in people, and she can find the good in the situation. And even once this is complete and you get a chance to just see the whole story, I don't know how I could have survived what she has gone through. And for her to come out with such a positive message, and her goal in life now is to better humanity, even though humanity beat the crap out of her. That's, to me, is an amazing story. It's about forgiveness and hope, and boy, we could all use a little bit of that right now,
Right. It's almost like finding the actual blessing within the adverse experience.
It's exactly what it is. However you want to say it, silver lining, pig's ear, Sal, I don't care how you want to say it. But it is, and it's a true story. That's what's phenomenal. The more I dug into it and what she endured, and then to meet her today, she's like happy, joy, make the most of life, and be thankful for what you have. And it's like, wow, I could use a little bit of that. I think it touched me in that way, because we've all had adversity. We all deal with stuff in life.
Right.
But not all of us come out on the other end in a favorable way. And I think it turned my life a bit to see, wow, if she can go through that and be like she is, then I can be a little bit better. I think I can be a little bit better than I have been.
That's wonderful. And I'm sure you're transferring that energy into the screenplay. And we do thank you for bringing it to our viewers and sharing it with us.
I can't wait to share it with the world, the whole story. Yeah.
So before we go, how long do you see you from being there, from it actually being released?
That's one of the silliest not silliest questions. It has the silliest. It has the silliest answer. Hollywood it's its own critter,
I know.
And sometimes things take 10 years from completion to and sometimes they can examine them through in 12 months. And we're the latter. We hope so. It depends on the crew and the people and the investors and that sort of thing. That more determines the timetable, I think, than if it were up to Amy and me, we'd begin shooting tomorrow. But
I get it. I asked that, and you know what? You answered it in a way that you just declared it and you put it out into the universe. So good luck on that journey, because trust me, we know.
If any of your viewers got a couple of $10 or $15 million laying around, we'll be glad to help them out there.
There you go. Spoken like a true writer.
Yeah, that's for sure.
All right. Well, once again, thanks for bringing it to our viewers, Eric P. Granger. And you guys, if you're interested in learning more information about the screenplay, Light from the Shadows, be sure to visit empoweringhumanitytv.com. All right, we have to take a quick break, but when we return, we're going to share an exhibition reflecting seniors during the pandemic. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back. The Bronx Documentary Center is holding the Bronx Senior Photo League year-end exhibition entitled #Senior Lives Matter. The exhibition reveals the intimate lives of older adults during the pandemic and exposes how older adults were not only vulnerable to illness, but also in danger of becoming invisible. Joining us to explain more and to share more on the exhibition, please welcome Bronx Senior Photo League Coordinator and Teaching Artist, Rhina Santos. Hi, Rhina.
Hey, Rhina, such a pleasure to be with you today.
It's so wonderful to have you on. Oh my gosh. You are amazing. I just want to acknowledge you for this work that you are doing with our seniors. Oh my goodness. It is just radiant. It's radiant is what it is.
Thank you so much.
I want to open up just by, and if you don't mind sharing with our viewers, if what the motivation behind this work you're doing, it seems to kind of there's something about it that kind of makes me think of your father. Oh. Is it your relationship to your father that has drawn you to making this your mission?
Well, thank you so much, Rhina, for mentioning my father, Ray Santos, who was a very well-known arranger and musician in Latin music and Latin jazz. And I was his caregiver for 8 years. And sadly, he passed away a year and a half ago. And I do have to say that my interest and my passion for older adult photography programs really stems from my relationship with my father. As a caregiver, I saw the challenges that older adults face with medical industry, with just society itself, how erased they are after they hit a certain age, as if their entire life is not valid anymore. And I saw that firsthand with my dad. And as his caregiver, from being his manager to then at the end, things were very challenging. It was clear to me that as a society, we really need to change our ageist ways and really deal with our ageism, because that impacts how our older adults are living every day. And so this program for me really represents a reparative situation of how do we look at older adults and what do we expect from them?
Yeah. And I just want to apologize for not mentioning your father's name and who he is, because, we had you on previously based on the exhibition at the Bronx Music Heritage Center, based on you following him backstage, and they were very, those images themselves were historical, which now these images that were taken by other seniors are just as historical. Let's talk about that process, because I understand that it was all done virtually. I understand that they kind of visited the world virtually to learn the history. And then there's also the images in which they were capturing, and some even self-portraits of this particular era, which I'm referring to as the COVID era, that's going to live for years, in many, many years to come.
No, absolutely. As you just said, beautifully, this is a historic time. And we're getting a lot of, documentation of this historic time, but who's not telling the story? Older adults. And so we're really giving that platform to older adults through this type of class. And so the Bronx Senior Photo League has been amazing this year. And they have really faced so many different challenges. And the first one is they had to go online virtually. We had classes 100% online all year. Senior centers in New York City were closed. They just recently opened. And so everyone had to move to online distance learning. And
so first they have to learn how to do the online component.
Absolutely.
Wow. So go ahead. Tell me more.
No, and absolutely. And so that meant, that we incorporated tech within our photo classes, but then not just learning how to go online, they received new cameras. Fuji saw how unique our program was and donated cameras for our program. So on being online and then learning this very complicated camera online as well. And they met all these challenges because older adults, it's important for us to know, are hungry to learn. And they wanted challenge. They wanted to learn more camera tech, and they wanted to be challenged with their artistic expression.
And so I'm just looking at some of these images, and thank you for sharing that, because again, just, to destigmatize the fact that just because you're an older individual doesn't mean that you're not open to learning something new. Absolutely. And obviously based on all the notoriety that this program has been receiving, I understand you just recently got written up in the New York Times. That's a big deal. I saw you on New York One. And so these images, I happen to be looking at one in particular that says Maria Mesa. I'm going to assume that's the photographer. I don't know if she's the actual subject matter, but it just really stands out for me because I've always considered photographers to be our historians. So it's quite lovely for this particular project to be the elders themselves capturing the history through their perspective.
That's absolutely right, Rhina. The image that you're talking about is by Maria Mesa, and she photographed another Bronx Senior Photo League member, Lydia, right after her vaccination, her first vaccination shot. And what's really wonderful about this exhibition, besides showing their work, we also have a dedicated page on, they created COVID-19 time capsules, and they also documented their vaccination journey. And as you can imagine, especially in the beginning of vaccination, things were so challenging. And so these seniors took their cameras and were brave enough not just to go and get vaccinated, but to document it for history. And that's what we kept talking about in class, which was in creating those time capsules, what can we create that is specifically their point of view to give to their loved ones in future generations. And it was this type of experience. That image for me, I think, encompasses exactly what older adults went through, the happiness of being vaccinated, but also the fear and the melancholy of that time too, that was mixed all together. And I really have to say how brave my older adults were. They were the first people that I knew that were willing to get vaccinated when vaccinations were made available in January. And they really set a tone that we need to follow, which is we're going to survive. We've gone through hard things in the past, and we're going to survive this unknown thing as well.
And so the other image that stands out for me is the image of it's a monitor. It's an image of a monitor when Joe Biden, I guess, was being inaugurated, and all the flags are in there. And the reason it stands out for me was because, we were dealing with multiple pandemics simultaneously.
That's right.
And so I'm going to assume that image was captured, or maybe it's me and my perspective, of a real sigh of relief in salvation has arrived.
No, that's absolutely right. Also, our older adults, they are incredibly connected to what's happening. And so we're dealing with a population that's mostly centered in the South Bronx. And I wanted to encourage them to photograph their televisions, to photograph what are you guys looking at. And one of the things that we talked about greatly was, they documented the election when they voted and also what they saw around them, and also the insurrection on January 6th and the election and inauguration. And, really being involved, because everything that happens in the government has a direct effect on them and their services that they're able to receive. And so again, it's showing this thing of, older adults that are connected and that they do want to learn, but the whole thing is, are we giving them enough time to learn? Are we reaching out? One of my students, Mildred, she said beautifully, it's like, it's not that we don't want to learn new things, is that people don't show us. And I want this work to really encourage people to look at other people, older adults that are in their lives, and to give them time. One of the things, a huge disservice that we did is have our older adults be so disconnected from technology. And I think now through COVID, we understand how important that is, and hopefully to be able to remedy that.
Beautiful. And thank you for bringing it to our viewers, Rhina. Basically, what I'm receiving in the message is like, just because a person reaches a certain age, don't cancel them out. They're students of life. There's always time to learn something new. And it's just a matter of approaching it with a certain level of compassion and wanting to offer it.
If we're, we'll be lucky to be that age. And how do we want people to treat us? And do we want people to count us out? But more importantly, this is an incredible point of view that's never really seen. And this is why the Bronx Senior Photo League work is so unique, so important, not just in the South Bronx, but I think in the world. And that's how come they were featured in the New York Times 2 weeks ago.
Exactly. And that's why it's available for you guys online. So once again, thank you, Rhina. And for you guys, if you're interested in viewing what we've been discussing, the Bronx Senior Photo League year-end exhibition is currently on display at BronxSeniorPhotoLeague.org. That's right, on a website, so you can see it worldwide. All right, don't go anywhere. Bobby C's Weekly Sports Roundup is coming up next.
That time again for 5 on 5. 5 sports stories from this past weekend and 5 to watch out for this coming weekend. At number 5, the Mets take the Subway Series at Yankee Stadium, highlighted by some fireworks from slugger Pete Alonso and the Amazons on July 4th in a Game 1 split doubleheader victory for the Mets.
I've had a lot of quality at bats, and I feel like I've been right on some pitches. Like, granted, you don't necessarily feel your best every single at bat, but I feel like I've made a lot of really good passes, and I know in Atlanta I made a lot of hard outs, a lot of hard contact, and that's baseball. I mean, it's 9 against 1 when you're in the box. Even the pitcher and the catcher count as fielders as well, so it's 9 against 1 up there. And even if you hit it hard, sometimes they don't land. I thought I was really, really solid with my plan, and I'm just really happy I got to be able to capitalize in a really big moment.
And at number 4, the Yankees salvage America's Patriotic Day in a split, but didn't have as much to boast about as the Mets. Although the Bronx Bombers have had their share of moments this season, the 500 club has 3 triple plays and now 2 immaculate innings to their credit. The latest courtesy of standout reliever Chad Green. Green tosses 3 perfect innings in a Subway Series win for the Yanks. We go back inside the locker room for more.
I think being able to land the breaking ball behind in the count got me back into some counts, and I was able to get some quick outs to keep the pitch count down. So, yeah, we've had some pretty devastating losses past few games that we should have won that we just weren't able to get done. So, yeah, I mean, I think that was a very important game for us. Definitely when we go into an off day, you don't want a sour taste in your mouth. especially playing a doubleheader. Obviously, trying to win two. Came up short the first game, so yeah, it makes sleeping a little easier tonight. Obviously, we know we have a lot of work to do still, but we'll reset on the off day and get ready to play on Tuesday. So.
The New York Liberty grabbed the third spot on the front end of 5-on-5. The Liberty rallied from 18 down on the WNBA hardwood to top the Mystics Saturday at the Barclays Center. Speaking of fireworks, talk about an explosive comeback for the Liberty.
Yeah, I mean, we didn't start off great, and we had to, come together in the locker room, figure out what we needed to do and how we needed to come out of this game. And I think we all believed that we could win. If we did the controllables and played like we know we can. And so it was huge to be able to come out and get a win against a very good team. But I think it was, more importantly, just showed us that this is the way that we need to play in order to win games in this league.
That was vintage Sabrina. We had to really be careful and manage her minutes, or else she probably would have played a lot more. But some of the things she's doing better now is she's using those ball screens. She's coming off tight. She's setting up the ball screens better. She's not coming off straight up. She was more aggressive tonight, not letting, hard shows and physical defense bother her as much. I just thought that she really came out and adjusted and looked like herself tonight. And her taking the onus on herself to make those adjustments, and how big of a difference that makes for our team when she's a playmaker down the stretch and she's looking to create her own shot and create for other people. It is a game changer. It really is.
Comeback was the operative word for Joseph Newgarden and Team Penske this past weekend, too. Newgarden drove to the first victory of 2021 for himself and Team Penske on Sunday, leading 73 of 80 laps and holding off a charging Marcus Ericsson to win the Honda Indy 200 at Mid-Ohio. It ended a dry spell of 9 races without a victory for Newgarden and Team Penske, the winningest team in IndyCar Series history.
It seemed like smooth sailing at the beginning of the stint. I felt pretty comfortable, and just 10, 15 laps to go in each set of primary tires. I was just chewing up the rears, so I was really struggling to just kind of make it to the end of each stint. Those last 10 laps in particular. So it was definitely a fight to finish the race. Traffic was a fight today too. That kind of ebbed and flowed for us up at the front. But yeah, overall, I think it was a strong weekend. I was just so positive about the way we rolled off the truck. The car was just on it right away. It felt so comfortable. I think our balance probably wasn't as perfect today when the temperature came up. It seemed like temperatures suited us a little better on Friday and Saturday. But overall, just happy, to finally close off one of these wins.
IndyCar slides in at number 2, and since comebacks are the theme here this morning, we roll with Hoops in the Sun at number 1. The league returns for its 21st season right here in the Bronx this past weekend. New York Nick Obi Toppin Jr. came out to watch his dad play Saturday. The two plan on playing together this summer run. Comebacks and family, a cool way to celebrate the holidays this summer. As for what to look out for, all eyes will be on the fight game this Saturday night. Following a respectful build-up to their January rematch, Conor McGregor has resorted to his classic trash-talking game ahead of Saturday's rubber match with Dustin Poirier at UFC 264 in Las Vegas. Meanwhile, Poirier has claimed McGregor's return to his old antics is a matter of insecurity after Poirier scored a knockout win at UFC 257. McGregor's intensity has certainly ratcheted up coming into this weekend. The eyes of the sporting world will be on T-Mobile Arena tomorrow night for an epic trilogy headlining UFC 264 in Las Vegas, the first major MMA event in Sin City with a sellout crowd in nearly 18 months. UFC headlines the back end of 5-on-5 and comes in at number 1 as we count up to 5 here on 5-on-5. And at number 2, what a time of year for sports. Plenty of options this weekend. Hockey fans have been in all their glory with the Stanley Cup Finals this past week, despite a lopsided affair between Tampa Bay and Montreal. NBA fans have Milwaukee and Phoenix to watch in the finals. Tennis fans have Wimbledon. And of course, the Tour de France stages just keep on flying by in the world of cycling. Variety takes the second spot here on the back end of 5-on-5. Head on over to NBCSports.com and ESPN.com for all the details on schedules, scores, and results. Results have come fairly easy for the first place Mets at home. And at number 3, a 3-game weekend series with Pittsburgh at Citi Field for the club. The Mets welcome the Pirates starting tonight at Citi Field. Also on the baseball diamond, the Yankees roll into Houston for what could be a heated series with the rival and hated Astros. Perhaps that will spark the Bombers into some winning ways. Houston may go down in history for its cheating ways, but this season the team is showing that it might actually be able to get things done for real, regardless, already reaching 50-plus wins on the year. Yankees-Astros takes number 4. And last but certainly not least, we've got Yankee insider Brian Hoke on Monday's Open for the first of a two-parter. Too good not to make it number 5 on my list right here. Hoke breaks down the team's latest troubles and also details 2020 in a discussion about his newest book, The Bronx Zoom. That's 5 on 5. To the C-List we go. Since I may have robbed you of a true 5th spot on the back end of 5 on 5 with more self-promotion right here on Friday Morning's Open, I figured let's give you something else to look out for this weekend in the C-List. Comebacks have really highlighted our conversation this morning, and Formula E is no different. The racing series is coming to New York City for a doubleheader event for the 4th time since 2017 this weekend on July 10th and July 11th. However, this will be the first time in 2 summers since there was no race here in the Big Apple last season due to the coronavirus pandemic. Formula E is a single-seater motorsport championship that resembles Formula One cars, but they use full electric motors. Now in its 7th season, the fastest-growing motorsport recently gained world championship status by the FIA, the same governing body of Formula One. The races will take place along the streets of Red Hook, Brooklyn, adjacent to the Brooklyn Cruise Terminal along the borough's western coast, where the Manhattan skyline and Statue of Liberty provide a stunning backdrop for the racing series. New York will be the venue for Formula E's 10th and 11th rounds of the 15th round season. Come check it out this weekend in Brooklyn, or if you miss it, watch our full recap next week on the show. That's your look at sports. I'm Bobby C.
Hey everyone, welcome back. Our last guest is a singer and songwriter from the Dominican Republic who discovered her passion for singing at a very young age, and she's performed at choirs and colleges and local restaurants, and today she joins us to discuss her new single, No Quiero Rosas. Please welcome Ambar, Paola. Hi.
Hi, thank you so much for the invitation to your program.
Well, welcome, welcome, welcome. And from what I understand, está llegando desde Wisconsin?
Yes, I'm in Wisconsin right now.
Well, that's the beauty of us operating virtually, that we can actually grab a hold of talent in different parts of the United States. And it's lovely that we can even share the story with our viewers. I understand that you're here temporarily for a couple of months. And so I would like to open up with just discussing how that may have been for you, traveling to the United States post-COVID. And was this something that was planned prior to COVID and got postponed, or is just finally coming into fruition that you're reaching the United States?
So yeah, this was planned since 2019, but due to COVID, all things got it was a mess. So what happened, I'm here for an international exchange, which college students, we come to work here for 4 months and then we go back to our countries. But I started this process in my country at the end of 2019. So I was supposed to come here in 2020, but then the program was canceled and I couldn't come. But then I'm here now and things happen when they need to happen, because look, I'm talking to you now.
Yeah, look at that. And not only that, you've got a hit single, and you've only been in the United States 2 months. I mean, I know you've been singing for a while, but I would imagine that that's also assisting your career, even though you're here for a job exchange, right? So did you specifically choose Wisconsin, or do they choose it for you?
Oh, okay, so yeah, I specifically choose Wisconsin. You know, at the beginning, I was going to Atlanta because I went in 2019, but due to COVID, there was a problem and we couldn't go there. So then they gave me options and I decided to come here to Wisconsin in Dark County, which is sadly there.
And so just because, you know, I'm a New Yorker and I'm curious, what appealed to you about Wisconsin?
Well, so here I'm near to the Lake Michigan, and it's so beautiful. I mean, this is all related to nature, and you can kayak here, you can go hiking, also you can fish, and all of that. It's fun. I mean, I like to do that.
And so how is that part of your development process? So you're there working. Are you there working as a singer, or they talk us through this?
Yeah, so this helped me, the area to write songs, because you have such a good environment where you're quiet and you're in peace and you can write really well without nobody interrupting you. And also I'm here working in a restaurant, it's child restaurant, but in the restaurant I can develop my passion for singing. And I work in a food truck, so it's outside. I'm always dealing with people. And I have something that says I sing for tips. So every time that they tip me, I just sing for them. And I love to do that. So even though they give me the money, I will do it without.
Yeah, no, I get it. It's beautiful. I get it. You know, it's your craft, and it's a lovely gesture. And so before we go, because I know I'm going to be introducing everybody to your new hit single, and I understand you wrote that. Did you write that in Wisconsin?
So I didn't write No Quiero Rosas in Wisconsin, but I did write.
I didn't think so, but I wanted to see.
I did write a song when I was here in the United States in 2019. That was my first song. It's called El Arrepentido. That one, I wrote it when I was here. But now, no Quiero Rosas. You know, since I knew I was coming here for a long period of time, I recorded some videos and songs in Dominican Republic, so I could release it even though I'm here.
Wonderful. Very strategic, a businesswoman at that. Good for you. And thank you for bringing it here to our viewers, and good luck on your new ventures in Wisconsin. And I'm so looking forward to sharing your music with our viewers. Do you have any last words?
So my last word will be thank you so much for having me here. And also you can listen to my song No Quiero Rosas and all of my songs in all digital platforms like Apple Music, Spotify, and YouTube. And yeah, you can go listen to it. I'll I hope you like it. I'm just a girl from the Dominican Republic trying to make it. So I'll be grateful if you listen to my music.
Brava! We're cheering you on, Paola. Brava, brava, brava.
Thank you.
Oh my gosh. And you guys are going to cheer her on when we come back. We're going to take a quick break, but when we return, Ambar Paola is going to perform her new single, Quiero Rosas. No Quiero Rosas.
No quiero.
Welcome back here now to perform No Quiero Rosas. Please welcome Ambar Paola.
De hombre como tú ya yo estoy curada. Promesa que no cumplen y no pasa nada. Cuando conmigo te quedaba en la habitación, lo que tú hablabas era más que lo que pasaba en el colchón. Ya no quiero rosas que digan lo siento. No creo en palabras ni en nada de eso. Siempre con lo mismo, ya pasa tu tiempo. Yo no quiero rosas ni nada de eso. De ti no quiero chocolate, late que late. Tú vienes siendo el rey al que le dices a que mate. Nunca quedamos empate, porque yo soy la mejor. Y fue tu culpa, aunque no acepte el error. No quiero rosa, rosa pa' pedir perdón. Tú solo te quedaste, ahora soy peor. Ni siquiera pienses en llamarme, que pa' ti estoy en modo avión. De hombre como tú ya yo estoy curada. Promesa que no cumplen y no pasa nada. Cuando conmigo te quedaba en la habitación, lo que tú hablabas era más que lo que pasaba en el colchón. Ya no quiero rosas que digan lo siento. No creo en palabras ni en nada de eso. Siempre con lo mismo, ya pasa tu tiempo. Yo no quiero rosas ni nada de eso. Ambar Paola, dímelo clave. Baby, now you try. If I were you, I would also cry. Try to want me, baby, lose your time. No quiero nada de ti, go and take a flight. Te puedes cuidar.
Yo no quiero rosas. For you guys, for more on Ambar Paola, all her music can be found on all musical platforms. And of course, you can check her out on IG at Ambar_Paola. That is our show today, mi gente. Thanks to all our guests for coming through, and to you, our viewers, for tuning in. If you missed any part of the show, you can check out the Cablecast tonight, 24 hours a day at bronxnet.tv. I'm Rhina Valentin, and from all of us here at Open, may the universe provide paz, prosperity, y amor. Adios.